Commuter-style e-bikes dominate a huge section of the market nowadays. With an ever-increasing supply of models and features, it can be hard to decide which is right for you. I'm Scott with BikeRide.com, and today we're entering into the commuter world with a fairly new brand, Denago, and its Commute Model 1. It's time to put foot to pedal and see what this step-through Class 3 urban e-bike is capable of. Let's go ride some bikes. So what is the Denago Commute Model 1? The Commute Model 1 we have today is the step-through variation. Another high-step version named the Commute Model 1 Top Tube is also available. The Commute is an urban Class 3 bike featuring a 500-watt motor, which is able to power the unit up to 28 miles per hour. The step-through frame makes battery installation and removal a breeze, not to mention the ease of use that comes from never needing to kick your leg high over the rear rack again. Designed for commuters riding in urban settings, the bike has some pleasant extra features, like a rear rack, fenders, and a front light. Coming in at 64 pounds, it's no lightweight, but the bike is a fairly standard weight for other bikes in its class. It feels lighter and easier to maneuver unpowered than the monster all-terrain bikes that we often see, but still not something you would want to hike upstairs with willingly. The bike also has some nice enhancements, like its 8-speed drivetrain with an 11 to 32 tooth cassette, or the enhanced ride quality provided by the 100mm front coil suspension fork and suspension seat post. So on paper, we have a nice package that complements its intended ride style. Let's take a look at how this all comes together with our pro and con. Starting off with the pros. And our first pro is that high top speed. The Denago Commute Model 1 is a Class 3 e-bike with a top speed of 28 miles per hour. This high top speed is a wonderful asset when commuting, allowing you to cover ground quickly and keep up with urban traffic. I think the higher top speed is essential for dedicated commuters, and it's great to see Denago catering to its main audience with this high top speed. For our second pro, we have the fact that this bike arrives fully equipped. The Denago Commute packs some nice features for daily riding, like the front and rear fenders made from aluminum, the front light, and the rear rack, which can carry up to 55 pounds. The 100mm suspension fork and suspension seat post enhance the bike's ride comfort, even though the bike isn't intended for rough terrain. But the comfort of those items provide is basically essential for daily riding. Many paved roads feature an assortment of dips and bumps, and after 10 miles in the saddle, you can feel every one on most bikes. The suspension seat post combined with the sizable plush seat was very helpful, making the ride more manageable and enjoyable. The bike also benefits from an upgraded drivetrain with a micro-shift 8-speed derailleur and an 11 to 32 tooth rear cassette. This enhanced range allows you to find a comfortable cadence, whether you're getting going from a dead stop or cruising along at high speed. Our third pro is that the bike is very well priced. The Commute Model 1 is well priced, coming in at the lower end of the pricing spectrum for the US market. Even with the low price tag, we still see some great features like the ones that we mentioned in the above pro, included for no extra charge. And it's worth noting that items like a rear rack can often be an additional expense, adding to the cost of a new bike. So it's great to see so many features that riders are looking for packed into a nice, affordable package, at least by e-bike standards. And now we have to look at a few of the things that didn't work out so well. Starting with our first con, which is the throttle safety feature. So this is a safety feature on the bike, and it's supposed to prevent you from activating the throttle by mistake. The Denago deactivates the throttle when the brake is applied. So attempting to take off from a dead stop with the throttle only provides no power, and it's a little bit of a shock. You have to pedal half to a full rotation or push the bike forward approximately 3 feet to get the throttle to kick back in. And in practice, it's quite frustrating. While the intention is good, which is to prevent false starts, I would prefer to just see a throttle on-off switch over this built-in feature. The drawbacks far outweigh the limited safety it provides, in my opinion. When it comes to our second con, we have the battery capacity and range. The Denago Commute comes equipped with a 48-volt 13.6 amp hour battery, which is slightly smaller than the 15 amp hour average for most Class 3 bikes that we see. Combined with a high speed of 28 miles per hour, the bike is power hungry at max assist, which is limiting to its total range when you're riding at high speed. The controller does not seem to help, offering a bit of a frustrating experience regarding the state of charge display. During the range test, the bike appeared to hold charge well, displaying a steady decrease in the state of charge on the main display as I proceeded, up to about 50 or 60%. The bike was consistent. But after reaching 50 or 60%, the bike made a sudden dip, dropping from 50% to 10% after a short hill climb, and ultimately it left me stranded before I returned to the starting point. Not having a consistent taper to the state of charge display makes it challenging to predict your range. I would expect to be able to travel until about 60% battery and then be able to turn around and return to my start point again with the remaining power, but that wasn't the case. For con number 3, we have the riding position. The Commute Model 1 has an interesting geometry, and we're looking specifically at the large XL size, which is sized for riders 5'8" to 6'5", and has a reach measurement of only 15.3 inches. This provides a straight-backed riding stance, but also brought a cramped feeling as my elbows felt tucked close to my body and I was drawn over the front wheel during turns. And another note from smaller riders who also tested this bike has to do with the minimum saddle height. With a 35-inch minimum height for the small and medium size and a 38-inch height for the large XL, some people with smaller legs may have trouble getting into the seat on this bike. So what does it do best? The Commute Model 1 lives up to its name, offering electric, high-speed travel in urban environments. Its smooth tires and suspension help it glide over pavement and hard-packed surfaces easily, keeping you comfortable with the 100mm of front suspension travel. And features like the rear rack fenders, front light, and high top speed make it the perfect companion for those with places to go. Commuters are the obvious target for this model, but those who intend to ride for work and play can still find some good use for the bike in a recreational role. Whether commuting or just having fun, the straight-backed riding style and short reach are distinct features of this style of bike. Some may be looking for this, which can be comfortable for the right rider. So what are some reasons to look elsewhere? Well, the flip side to the last pro is that the bike's straight-back style and limited reach will make other riders, like myself, uncomfortable. I know that for me personally, I look for a more athletic riding stance and a longer reach measurement. And the step-thru frame, while very convenient, also brings additional frame flex, which can be unnerving for heavier riders or those looking to push the bike's limits. Not that this is the frame for any high-speed tricks. The bike also has a high top tube version, which would most likely remedy all of this. Finally, with some inconsistencies in the state of charge display and a slightly undersized battery, the bike could offer some range anxiety for riders looking to truly go the distance. The 500-watt motor with 50 Nm of torque is also smaller than we would like to see for really steep grades. So if your commute features steep or really consistent hills, you may want to look for a more powerful 750-watt nominal motor that provides greater torque. Next, let's take a look at the bike's frame and geometry. The Denago frame features a shorter than average reach measurement, which when combined with the cruiser style bars, offers a very straight-backed riding experience. Personally, I found this cramped and slightly unpleasant to ride for longer periods of time. But I know that some others may look for this style. Looking at some of the bike's geometry specs, we have an effective top tube length of 25.7 inches or 653 millimeters, a wheelbase of 45.7 inches, a minimum saddle height of 38 inches, a stack of 26.9 inches or 684 millimeters, and a reach of 15.3 inches, 390 millimeters. Taken together, the bike has good sizing for pedal positioning on my 6-foot frame, but it felt cramped when it came to reach and handlebar placement. Whether this is a factor with this style of bike or this model specifically is up for discussion and will probably come down to personal preference. I have noticed a similar feeling on other bikes of the same style. The step-thru frame has some wobble despite a large reinforced gusset above the bottom bracket. And while the bike feels very well built, this wobble may be a little bit unnerving for larger riders or when performing some actions like high-speed cornering. The top 2 version would most likely eliminate this frame wobble. The motor on the Commute is from a new brand to our channel, Shenjiai, which is a Chinese electric motor brand. The motor we're looking at today specifically is the DGW22S, a 48-volt, 500-watt nominal motor capable of a max torque output of 50 Nm. The motor can power the bike up to its top speed of 28 miles per hour in about 23 seconds, so it's not a speed demon, but it is peppy and responsive at lower speeds, when using the pedal assist especially. The motor features enough torque and power for mild to moderate hills, and will suit many consumers just fine. As mentioned in our cons, we had a pretty quick drop in power when attempting a hill at lower battery voltages, so steep slopes should be considered cautiously at low battery levels. Next, moving on to the cockpit and control. The cruiser-style bars with a slight riser feature comfortable grips and a well-organized cockpit. The micro-shift trigger shifter is pleasant and offers a visual cue for gearing. On the left side, a thumb-style throttle and a 3-button control pad are simple to operate and control the large 3.5-inch LCD display. The display is centered on the bars and offers some easy-to-see information. You can select the assist level and page through different display options, including trip, odometer, and your remaining range, which is a nice feature. The battery level is displayed as a 10-bar gauge, offering an easy way to see your approximate voltage. It's a fairly good middle ground between the precision of a percentage and the general idea a 4 or 5 bar battery gauge gives. Talking about the battery, we have a 48 volt, 13.6 amp hour or 652.8 watt hour battery, which is UL certified and contains LG cells, which is great to see. But it is a little bit of a smaller capacity than other 14 amp hour, 15 or even 20 amp hour units that we see on other bikes. Because the bike has such a high top speed, it's easy to use this power quickly if you're zipping around at full assist. Because of this, our range test was shorter than other bikes in the same class and was a little bit of a disappointment compared to other results. Still, the bike can handle most commutes with over 20 miles of total range. For our range test, we traveled a total distance of 21 miles, an elevation of 856 feet, at an average speed of 19.6 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at the charger, battery removal, and keys. The unit is unlocked with a key inserted into the upper down tube, and the battery is easily unlocked for removal. After unlocking, the unit is simple to remove because of that step-thru frame. Inserting the battery is also easy, and the key is not required to click the battery into place and lock it down. So you just need to give it a firm push. The bike also allows for charging when the battery is installed with its integrated charge port on the lower down tube. It's always nice to have options. The battery charges in 5 to 7 hours from a 0% state of charge, and the charger is a 3 amp output. A nice little upgrade over a standard 2 amp, and it also brings down the total charge time. An 8-speed drivetrain assists the electric motor and is nicely sized with an 11 to 32 tooth 8-speed rear cassette. This additional gearing allows you to take advantage of the vast range of speed a Class 3 is capable of. It's great to see this additional gearing so we don't have any ghost pedaling at high speeds or trouble in the high gears. The micro-shift derailleur and shifter perform well, with relatively crisp shifting that is on par with the typical Shimano, Tourney, or Acera. The front 42-tooth crankset also has a double-sided guard to keep your pants from getting stuck in the chain and keep them clear of chain grease. The Denago team chose to go with Zoom hydraulic brakes, combined with 180mm rotors to stop the unit. The brakes have a pleasant feel to the lever and offer reliable performance. The brakes are a dual-piston hydraulic brake and offer quick response and firm pressure, so it seems that this braking result is more due to the tires than it is to the brakes. At 20 miles per hour, we stopped in a total distance of 21.5 feet, and at 28 miles an hour, we stopped in 44 feet. In our braking test, we can see that the tires seem to allow the bike to slide a significant amount, which brings up our total distance, especially in the 28 mile per hour test. Moving on to the wheels, tires, and fenders. As we mentioned before, we have some Denago branded 27.5 by 2.6 inch tires, which feature puncture protection and a slim tread profile. The tires feature a checkered pattern for traction and are best suited to dry pavement because they do not offer much traction in wet or slippery conditions. The 2.6 inch width is a nice combination of size and performance. It offers enhanced traction and better float in looser conditions like packed gravel, while also performing well on the pavement with little roll resistance. The Commute features front and rear tire fenders, which are always a great addition to keep you clear of road debris as you ride. The fenders are made from durable aluminum and seem like they'll stand up to some abuse. Like most bikes, the Commute features the standard single-sided kickstand. It offered no issues during riding and did its job just fine. Looking at the contact points on the Denago Commute Model 1, we see a few nice items. Starting off with the grips. I'm a big fan of the grips on the Commute. They're a lock-on grip made from a nice soft rubber, so it's very sticky on your hand. With a round profile and a slight ergonomic flair, they're comfortable to hold and offer a nice place to rest your weight on the bars with that little flair. The seat is another win for the Denago. I found a comfortable platform for cruising or pedaling. The combined suspension from a suspension seat post and a couple of polymer springs within the seat itself make the ride quite comfortable and smooth. The seat also features a nice little handle on the back, which is perfectly placed for maneuvering the bike and picking it up. It's a great little touch. And finally, the pedals. They're a platform pedal from Tracy, and they seem similar to most platform pedals on these types of bikes, and they offer reasonable traction with the small pegs that are included. These pedals are pretty standard, very similar to the Wellgo pedal, but they offer no issue, so they'll get you out riding right away. Well, the new kid on the block is strutting its stuff, and Denago brings some nice value with a complete commuter package in the Commute Model 1. This Class 3 bike brings high-speed riding and features like the rear rack and 11 to 32 tooth 8-speed drivetrain, although we do see a little bit of struggle with the state of charge display as it took a quick dip during our range test on the unit. Despite this, with a total range of 21 miles, it's got a high average speed and the bike will cover ground very well. So if you're looking for a dedicated commuter for your urban ride, this might just be the bike for you. If you want to check out more, come to bikeride.com and check out the detailed specs, as well as you can see user and expert reviews. You can also check out other great e-bikes and see them rated to find your perfect match. Do you have a question or something that you want to say? Let me know in the comments and we'll start getting you some answers. And if you liked this video, please give us a like and subscribe so we can keep on bringing you the latest e-bike reviews and news. I'm Scott with bikeride.com. I want to thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy the ride.